Hi, welcome. Today we are teaching you some kitchen basics. Camilla and myself are going to start with teaching you how to sharpen your knives. What we've got in here is a water stone. We've got two types of stones. You have the oil stone and the water stone. The oil stone tends to get clogged up and very dirty, where chefs prefer to use a water stone as you soak it in water for 10 minutes and then away you go, it's free to use. What we've got here are two types of grit. You've got 1000 grit and 210 grit. That's how fine you need to sharpen your knife. So if you want to start it off on the really thick one, that gets the steel down a lot quicker.
Isn't that also if you've got like a really blunt knife?
Yes, if
and
you've
you
got,
really need to
if you've got a really blunt knife, you get all the little dings and bumps out, and then the 1000 is to finish it to give you a nice smooth finish. And then once we've done that, Camilla will finish it with a steel, which is the ultimate finish to get rid of all the little burrs that we've done from folding the metal. So what we've got, we're going to start on, we'll start on the 240 just for a few minutes. And what we want to do is your knife needs to have a slight angle, okay? Just lift it up, just so you can see a bit of air under there. And as long as you get on both sides. So it's about 15 degrees. Now, what we do is you can push in both directions, backwards and forwards, just maintaining that angle. But you want to count what you're doing. You either count or you time. So the idea is to do it evenly on both sides. So you can hear that working away onto the steel. We then turn it round to the other side. And you want to again keep maintaining that nice, smooth motion. Now, after you've done that 15 to 20 times each side, if your knife is really blunt, you might have to do this 4 or 5 sets. Okay, but you do it 15, stop, do another 15 both sides. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to finish it.
As well, don't you?
You check it, yeah. You have a little check to see how you're going. And what you're looking for is like, oh, that's getting a little bit sharper. Now, you don't want your knife too flat, otherwise you'll end up scratching, making a big mess out of your knife, and you're not really sharpening it. To finish is on the second side. Again, same, nice and smooth, backwards and forwards. And again, a set of 15, and then we check it and see how many sets you need to do. And you can see on the stone here that you can see the crisscross mark where the knife's been going backwards and forwards. And you're using the whole stone from one end to the other. Okay, once we've got that, we're just going to clean the edge of the knife to make sure there's no dirty stuff. And I'm going to give this to Camilla to finish on the steel.
All right. So it's always good to just check your knife before you put it onto the steel. You're just checking for bindies and things, which are the little rough bits that you find on the edge. Sometimes after a stoning, you can still have them on there. And so what we want to do then is to grab our steel and just really smooth those out. There's actually quite a lot of different steels available. Here I've got a finishing steel, which is really flat and smooth, and it's great for knives that you don't use a lot. So your everyday knives, you wouldn't really use it as much because it needs a tougher surface like a diamond head steel, which is one of my favourites. So with this one, I'll put it on the flat diamond head first. There's a lot of different ways that people will sharpen a knife. You can hold the steel down for people who really aren't that confident, and you can start by working the bottom of the blade all the way, just like you do on a stone, all the way to the tip, and a slight angle. I don't actually feel comfortable doing it this way, but a lot of people do when they start. I like to turn it up and always make sure your thumb is totally tucked underneath the guard. Otherwise, you could end up with a few stitches in there. So again, it's exactly like the stone. You have a slight angle, and we're just coming down from the base of the blade all the way to the tip on one side. And then we switch it over, we flip the knife over to the other side of the steel, and a slight angle, and we bring it down. We want to do this motion about 15 times. Whoops. And then as you get more confident, you'll go a bit faster.
The good thing is about the steel is it's magnetic. So any little bits of metal that we've raised on here, the steel will pick up those small bits of metal, and that way they're not going to get stuck in the food, go anywhere in the food or onto any of your ingredients. You just wipe off the steel when you're finished.
So after I've put it on the steel, I always just go over it and I think, right, yep, that's feeling really good all the way. Because sometimes when you're sharpening a knife, you can have sharp spots and blunt spots. And so if you've got some blunt spots, the best thing to do is go back to your stone and redo it. Otherwise, if it's all nice and sharp, then you're good to go for your chopping.